Hey everyone, Joey here. I was just in Las Vegas for CES last week, and I got to spend time with a lot of great content creators like Russ from Retro Game Core, Rob the Retro Tech Dad, Stubbs, Zoo, and Aish from the Retro Handhelds team, and their writers in Raven and Rocket. And we had a great time just browsing CES, seeing all of the cool things that are coming, the MSI Claw being one big one. But it was fun, and I wanted to share in this video what I saw and what I liked, and just give you an idea of what's coming. Now, before all that, if you're curious what I brought, my first handheld was the Steam Deck OLED, and my second handheld was the Retroid Pocket Flip, of course. Now, I was a little bit ambitious. I had loaded up my Steam Deck OLED with a ton of different games. I had Baldur's Gate, Dave the Diver, Triangle Strategy, Octopath Traveler 2, and so much more. And I got ambitious because as soon as I landed on the plane, I fell asleep. And I never actually got a chance to really play any of those games besides Celeste while I was at the Airbnb. So this failed on me a little bit because I really wanted to play a lot of it while I was there and just never got the chance. But I was able to play a lot of my Retroid Pocket Flip. And for the main reason that we were at a barcade and Russ and Aish were playing Metal Slug on the Pandora box. And they were able to beat two different games, Metal Slug 1 and X, I think. And I just watched and I was like, I really want to play. And then the next day I spent beating Metal Slug 1, 2, and X. And I'm working on 3 right now. So those were the two systems or two handhelds that I brought. Those were the games I played. I wish I had more time to play them, but let's get into why I didn't. So before all that, one booth that I did visit was UGREEN, and they're actually today's video sponsor. UGREEN had a booth with awesome products on display, and they also sent me two cool ones that I think would be great for anyone looking for a dock. This is the Revo Dock Pro 313, and it's a 13-in-1 dock with everything that you need. 2 HDMI ports, a display port, a 10 GB per second USB-C 3.2 Gen 2 port, and two 10 GB per second USB-A 3.2 Gen 2 ports, two 5 GB per second USB-A 3.0 ports, a 100 watt PD charging port, 3.5mm audio port, gigabit Ethernet, and even an SD card reader. You can even do triple displays. The files transfer over at speeds of up to 10 gigabytes per second, which is just absurd. This is like the Rolls-Royce of docks, and I don't know what else you would need. For a second option, they also sent me over this 10-in-1 dock called the Revo Dock Pro 210, which also has two HDMI ports, a 5 GB per second USB-C port, a USB-A 3.0 port, 100 watt PD charging, gigabit Ethernet, and an SD card reader again. This will do dual monitors at 4K 60 or a single monitor at 8K 30, and it also has file transfer speeds of up to 5 gigabytes per second. This is an awesome budget dock alternative. But if for some reason neither of these are for you, then check out all of the other awesome products they have, from charging to cables to anything really that you need in the tech space. Check out the link in my description if you want to order either of these two docks from UGREEN. Oh, and I guess there is a lot of other companies that I visited as well, so let's take a look at them, and we're going to start with my favorite one, which was MSI with the MSI Claw. The Claw is MSI's new Windows handheld, and it'll be releasing in a few months with 3 different SKUs. It's using Intel chips, and it starts at $699 US. Naturally, being a device that looks like my favorite Windows device, the ROG Ally, I gravitated quickly to this. You might be thinking it's just a black covered Ally, but it's a lot different in my opinion. For one, despite it being 60 grams heavier in weight, the Claw actually feels a bit lighter than the Ally. They've done some magic with distributing the weight, and it shows. The comfort and ergonomics were top-notch as well. I found it to be extremely comfortable to hold, and I could see myself using it for extended periods of time. The sticks felt good, but not as good as the Ally, and it's the exact same thing with the actual face buttons. The shoulder buttons are mushy and don't feel that great. However, I did find out after that the shoulders will not be mushy in the final product, so we'll keep an eye on that. The triggers are fine, but also not as good as the Ally. The display is a 120Hz VRR display, and it's fantastic to see, and it follows Ally's lead for that. It's also using a large 53 watt-hour battery, which is bigger than the one that's in the Ally, which is a 40 watt. The MSI rep that I spoke to said we should expect 2 hours of battery life at 35 watts with this device. And that's a bit of an outrageous claim that I can't verify until I get one in my hands. The big news with this device is the Intel Core Ultra 7 processor, 155H, but the other SKU uses the Ultra 5. This is exciting to me as it's a new chip that we just haven't benchmarked before, meaning we don't really know the complete performance for emulation or otherwise. I can tell you that I played a little bit of Assassin's Creed Mirage on it at the booth, and parts of it felt good, but others did not. Mirage is kind of a terrible showcase game though, as it does have stutter issues on even a good PC when I play it on my actual PC. So it's hard to know if what I was seeing was the game or the device performance. And that sort of goes into my final thoughts for this, and that's basically that I need to wait until I have it actually in my hands to make any sort of final decision or anything like that. I will say that from everything that I did see, I'm actually super excited and interested in this, but as always, going to temper expectations and just wait till it's in my hands before anything else. My second favorite thing was AR glasses, and we're going to start with the XREAL Air 2 Ultras, which if you watched my VTuber 1 review, you know that I'm actually really interested in AR glasses, so I'm excited to see if I like the XREALs a little bit better. And first off the bat, I have to say they were really impressive, albeit they're really expensive at $699 US. They're using a new spatial technology where you can actually use your hands and pinch things that you see in the glasses to select menu items among other things. The glasses themselves were actually quite comfortable, and I liked them a lot in comparison to the VTuber 1s. They showed these glasses working with everything, Steam Decks, Ally, other devices, and really the only hang-up that I have right now is the actual price, as well as the fact that basically everybody is just releasing AR glasses. For example, ASUS had the Air Vision M1 glasses, and I was able to try those out, and they were actually super cool as well. They let you zoom out the screen, which was a complaint that I had with the VTubers that you couldn't do that, and also if you're using a PC, you could have as much as 8 screens up, and you can toggle between them, or just look from one to the other. No price yet for those, but I'd imagine it's probably going to be the same price or close to the XREALs. The funny thing is, I was able to play a little bit of the PlayStation VR 2 with the Ghostbusters game while I was there, and it was my first time using VR since the PSVR 1 and the Vive, so it's been a really long time. I have to say the AR glasses are infinitely more exciting than the VR ones were to me, but it's awesome that we have options and we have all these companies coming out with different things that we can try and decide which one's for us. Speaking of ASUS, and moving on into my third favorite thing, there's the ASUS Tessen mobile controller, and it's a telescopic controller for your phone. Now, everybody knows that I love my Game Vice Flex, but since they don't make it anymore, I've been on the lookout for a replacement, and I think this might be it. It can fold up, which is awesome, and it also makes inserting the phone so much easier, but also it works with phone cases. My S23 Ultra fit nicely inside of it, even with a case. It has a nice ergonomic design with the bottoms flaring outwards, USB pass-through charging, RGB lighting, and the buttons, D-pad, and sticks all feel great. They said this should retail at around $100 US, which is a great price for this, and honestly I'm super excited to get one. We could use a good option for telescopic controllers. Lastly, ASUS had the best swag out of everybody with this ROG Ally pillow. I just absolutely love this thing. It is fantastic. And I know you're jealous. You can't get one. It's just for me. I am going to just cherish this thing forever because it is just so awesome. And I wish that other companies would do fun things like this because it was just cool to see. They even put little nubs on here, and they're just little fuzzy nubs. This is awesome. This was worth the whole trip just for this thing. Now, next up is something that I can't actually show you because we're just not allowed, but it's the Minisforum 14-inch tablet. And I'm just going to read the specs off my screen, so if you see me looking down, that's what it is, but it's a 2560 by 1600p screen, and that's a 16 by 10 aspect ratio. There's the latest Ryzen chip in it, which they told us, but I can't exactly tell you what it is. 28 watt TDP, 50 watt hour battery, and it also has a USB 4 port for external GPU support. One really cool thing about it is it actually has HDMI in as well as HDMI out, which is not something that I've seen before on a tablet that I can remember. Because of course, this is running Windows and not Android or anything like that. This is a full-blown PC with some awesome specs. But something else that was really cool that I can show you is the mini PC that they had. And I know, you're already groaning, but just hold on a second. It's the size of my palm, and it has a 7840U inside, 32 gigabytes of RAM, and so many different ports. This was actually super cool to see, and to see so much power in such a small little device, and it's retailing for $619 US. Honestly, I would love to get one of those in, and I'm petitioning to get one of those in, because at the very least, having something that small with that much power is just awesome. Imagine just bringing that around with you. You could just pocket it. You could put it in your sling bag, and your computer is just on the go with you, compared to a big tablet or something like that. It's just awesome. Last on my list was the Lenovo ThinkBook eGPU enclosure. I've been wanting to convert to an eGPU solution with a handheld forever, and I'm really hoping we start seeing more handhelds with Oculink ports, because if I find one that I like, this might be the eGPU enclosure to buy. It has a full Oculink PCIe 4x4 port, and the usual HDMI, DisplayPort, and USB-C. It's a beast with an aluminum shell, and it fits even the largest cards. From what I recall, there's actually a 1200 watt power supply inside as well, which is just crazy. I don't know what the price of this beast is yet, but I'm super excited to see it when it releases. One other cool thing from Lenovo that's just way out of my price range, but awesome to see, was their hybrid tablet. This is called the ThinkBook Hybrid, and let me blow your mind a bit. It's a 2-in-1, tablet and keyboard, except when you pull the tablet off, it's running Android. And when you connect it to the keyboard, it's running Windows. So it's two different operating systems. Each of them are running their own specs, but they also share storage. The tablet is a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, 14-inch OLED, 38 watt-hour battery, and 12 gigabytes of RAM. The Windows keyboard part is an Ultra 7 processor, 32 gigabytes of RAM, and a 75 watt-hour battery. Honestly, I just keep looking at it and trying to justify buying one, because while the price does make sense for the tech that's included, at $2,000 US, this is a really tough sell for normal people, I think. The best part about this is I can't wait for an affordable option to show up in maybe a year or two from somebody else, or even Lenovo. And then we'll have a good idea of what that looks like. But honestly, it's a really cool thing to just have Android and then dock it, get Windows, because that's a use case that I could use. I could see myself using Windows when I wanted to just use it as a laptop, pull out the tablet, and now it's just a screen for me to watch movies on, TV shows, bring with me on a trip, that sort of thing. So it's an awesome use case, and I'm really excited to see more of this. As a wrap up, I have to say that the best part about CES was the friends made along the way. We all shared an Airbnb, we went to the barcade, other hijinks ensues that I can't even share, and it was just awesome meeting everybody. And for some a little bit behind the scenes information on some of those content creators, Russ from Retro Game Core still uses jokes from the 90s. Rob, the Retro Tech Dad, has the absolute best laugh I've ever heard. And then we get into the Retro Handhelds team, and we have Stubbs, who's apparently a hugger, just an awesome guy all around. I have Aish, who's going for the sexiest man alive look. And then you have Zoo, which if you've watched any of Zoo's videos, Zoo is basically the exact same person that Zoo is in those videos. No difference. Then you have the writing team with Raven, who could bring the whole house down with his snoring. And then you have Rocket, who's the calm, silent type who just flows with everything. And then there was Bill, but we don't talk about Bill. Honestly, I'm super excited that I was able to go, and I'm excited for next year as well to spend time with the same group of guys. It's awesome that we live in a space with collaborating content creators. So we're all trying to get everybody to succeed and sharing tips and tricks and all of that sort of thing. And it was just awesome spending time with everybody. That's going to be it for this one. Don't forget to like and sub to help the channel grow, and hope you all have a good one.